Kellen be screen recording this via Zoom, so like I can actually fill in this little blank space right here, so it doesn't look really weird. But I just wanted to post. Oh my god! I just want to do a video on 301 because I feel like it has been getting hate, like whether or not it should, like, debate on whether or not there should be a pay-per-view, or like it just kind of sucks that Brazil doesn't get a better pay-per-view. Then no disrespect, Pantoja and Erceg is going to be a banger, but you never know. But when you're going through the card, there are some sleeper good fights, but I just wanted to make a quick video that I'm going to post on my highlights page that's just like the main things that you really need to care about. And I was just looking at the card. There's some interesting takes that you could have, but we'll just hop right into it. The main juice that maybe not everybody understands. If you like, for MMA fans, you probably already know, but if you don't, now you definitely do. And the main one on here is obviously the Dragon. Jonathan Martinez is the main juice on this card. When you're looking at prospects that are going to become serious issues outside of Steve Erceg, Jonathan Martinez, guys, as many MMA fans know, is a dog. And when it comes to just all around skill set, frame, attributes to be the champion, and most importantly, beat the current champion, I honestly believe that you don't have to look any further than Jonathan Martinez in terms of the biggest problem in the division for Suga Sean. When you're looking at it, stylistically, he's got aggressive striking, and he has that mentality, such as some of my favorite fighters, where if things aren't going right for him on the feet, he's going to create opportunities for himself. He's not just going to sit back and just stare blankly at Sean O'Malley. He's going to go after him, and he's going to attack. And this is not to discredit Jose Aldo. Like, Jose Aldo could go out there and come back with and get a finish in emphatic fashion in his home country, all right? But when I'm just looking at it, coming out of retirement to face one of the scariest guys in the division is probably not the best idea, especially when you're not in your prime. Jonathan Martinez, he's primed and ready to go and get after it. So, but what I was saying is, Jamar, like, if you go back and look at his resume, it's sneaky good, dude. When you go out there and you beat a guy like Said Nurmagomedov, you kick the legs off Adrian Yanez, I mean, and you just get all of these decisive finishes, I just really feel like there's nobody else at that 135-pound division that is really going to challenge Suga Sean. Like, if you have Chito Vera literally at number 4 in that division, and you saw the masterclass Sean put on him, the only guy outside of Jonathan Martinez is probably Corey Sandhagen. But the thing that I love about Jonathan Martinez is just the fact that he not only can strike with you, but he's going to change levels. And when you're stuffing takedowns against Said Nurmagomedov, that just speaks volumes about how well-rounded this guy is. So that's the main thing that I wanted to just get off my chest in terms of UFC 301, is that I'm not counting Jose Aldo out by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying that Jonathan Martinez, after you beat a Jose Aldo in Brazil, you're going to get a big fight. You're going to get a big fight, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Dude, I don't know. Like, who do you give Jonathan Martinez after? I don't really know who's booked. Does Peter Yan? I don't think Peter Yan has a fight. Does Corey have a fight coming up? Wait, let me check this out. Does Sandman have a fight coming up? You can see how I type too. Corey Sandman. You don't go Sandhagen. You go Sandman. No, dude, he's got nothing because he got hurt in the Rob Font fight. I mean, shoot. There's some fire matchups. And even Davison Figueiredo coming off that big dub over our boy No Love. Endless opportunities. But there was something else I wanted to say, dude, about Jonathan Martinez. I don't know. That's okay. The Dragon is coming in hot. And when it comes to that fight, though, like just Jose Aldo in general, I think that Jose is going to get the legs kicked off him again. I mean, that camp with what camp is that? With Chris Gutierrez? They're like the same exact. They just have these same exact kind of fighters. And I don't know, man. Jonathan Martinez just got to get on that mic after the fight and be like, bro, Sugar Sean, you know that I'm the only dude in the division that can challenge you. And I know Sugar's ready for it. Sugar's ready for an actual test. I don't know what's going to happen next with him because everybody's looking upwards. Everybody's like, I want to fight Ilia. Ilia's like, oh, I want to fight up. I want to fight Conor McGregor. It's like, bro, we need to stay in our lane here, all right? And that's another thing, though, that was kind of getting on my nerves is like not getting on my nerves, but like if Dustin Poirier ends up beating Islam Makhachev, bro, that cannot be his last fight. That cannot be his last fight at all. You have to defend that shit. You have to. You know Dana White hates that when guys win a belt and then retire because then the guy that lost is going to be fighting for a title again. And it's just kind of an annoying process. But yeah, the other thing that I did want to talk about outside of the Dragon to keep this thing quick is we know Kellen's not a betting man, and we know when Kellen bets, it's not always a great outcome, you know? But I don't know the exact odds. But Ihor Potieria coming down to middleweight. I know he missed weight in his was his middleweight debut, I think, maybe. I'm not sure. But he looked good and he was pressing the action. And he was fighting well. And he's a big, strong guy. And Michel Pereira is used to fighting dudes. I mean, he has a couple dubs at middleweight now. He's good. But I think that Ihor Potieria could end up pulling off an upset here. I know that he gets like he's a little chinny. He can get cracked. And you know that our boy loves striking. But Michel Pereira could be in danger here. I don't know. There's just something about that. To keep an eye on. I don't have any insider information. I don't have any real success betting. But the way that I really liked what I saw from Ihor Potieria, even though, you know, he has been in some like rough scraps, like in the Shogun fight. Shogun kind of had a little bit of success on him. And then he obviously got messed up a couple times to some tough dudes like Carlos Ulberg, but I don't know. That could be the bet. That could be the fight that you bet on, put a little cash down on. Don't do it, though. Do not do it, because I told you to. My computer sounds like it's about to take off. Then, dude, when it comes to the fights that make this card actually pretty sick, you look no further than Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shore. Bing, 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 bing. Jack Shore is so good, and he's going to have a tough test against Brito because Brito comes to fight, baby. Brito comes to fight, and he's built like a horse. So, and that's like, he is low-key a sleeper at featherweight, just because if you go back the Dana White Contender Series fight, that's how we all saw Diego Lopez. If Joanderson Brito can like string a few more together, shit, dude, you never know. You never know, because he coming in there beating Jonathan Pierce, JSP is choking out JSP. That's a feather in your cap, especially considering the fact that JSP, even though he just ran into David Onama, he's a really good fighter. And then if you go back to the Diego Lopez fight, he has the juice to beat some of the best guys in the world. And then Myktybek Orolbai versus Elves Brenner, you know this is going to be a scrap. I can't wait to see the ground exchanges and the scrambles here, because Myktybek, he's just kind of a mauler. But Elves Brenner seems to make every single fight he is in a dogfight. And against Guram Kotadaladze, Guram was kind of having like his way with him, but he came back and ended up getting the dub. And then, as we know, I think that one dude, Kuchevsky, did he step in on short notice against Elvis? And then Elvis cracked him in the back of the head or behind the ear, and he got that knockout dub. So it's going to be an interesting fight. But when you go in there like Myktybek and you take out a dude as good as Uros Medic right away in your UFC debut, that's impressive. Joaquim Silva, gave homie Arman a little bit of a run for his cash there. And then the main juice that I really wanted to look at as the garbage truck roars by is Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. I mean, this is a great fight to open up the main card. Costa's already fought Erceg. He's a good fighter. He likes to fucking get after you. And he's just kind of a little fire plug and throws bombs. And Borjas, if I'm not mistaken, dropped our boy Joshua Van in their, was it their fight? I think he did. I think he dropped Joshua Van. And he just stuck with it, didn't give up on himself, and it was a good scrap. And as we know, Joshua Van could climb the ranks there at flyweight here soon, so because it's not that deep of a division. But there's some good fights on here. We can't sleep on this card because the ones you sleep on tend to be the ones that excite, you know? But I'm just pumped for Jonathan Martinez to finally get his main moment, because it seems like he has been overlooked for a while. And outside of what I was going to say is, like, outside of that Davey Grant fight, I mean, this guy hasn't freaking lost in a long, long time. He knocked out Davey Grant in the first round. And I just love his overall resume, because he's not afraid to take on the grapplers, and he sure as hell is not afraid to take on the strikers, because when it comes down to just straight up striking, he is probably the best guy in the division in terms of just pure excitement, connecting on punches at a high rate, throwing great volume. I mean, I really think Sean O'Malley's going to have a big issue with him because he's tough. He can take one on the chin, and he can match the skill set tit for tat. Because if Sean O'Malley's going to come in there and is like, oh, bro, okay, so if somebody's going to give me some issues on the feet, I might show that skill set that not a lot of people have seen in terms of grappling, that Tim Walsh and everybody's like, we've been working on this for a long time and nobody's really tested it, so we're just gonna pull that card out of the secret card out of our sleeve and maybe get a dub that way. But Jamar's gonna be able to counteract that, stuffing takedowns, keeping the fight where he wants to keep it. He's a distance control master, and I don't see a fight, because you could kind of see matchups with Sugar Sean O'Malley that could be boring and one-sided. But when you look at Jonathan Martinez, guy's fearless. He's going to come forward and find his opportunities and make opportunities for himself. I'm excited. We've been watching this guy forever, and he's been slept on forever. And even though he hasn't been having those huge fights against ranked guys, he's been taking tough fights. And as we know, I mean, shit, the bantamweight division, if it's any other division, some of these guys will be in the top 10, top 15. But as we know, bantamweight is so deep that these guys, not even ranked, even though they're really tough. So I'm looking forward to it. Not going to watch the fights, though. I'm going to be busy. Probably going to... maybe my dad will get him and I'll sneak a few peeks on my phone. But, yeah, that's all I got to say. In terms... I'm keeping this sucker... Sure, we're going to keep this like a 15-minute fight, 3-round fight. Quick things. John Jones versus Alex Pereira. All right. I'm down for it. The thing with Alex Pereira is, I know that it's kind of annoying, blah, blah, blah. Not as well-rounded of a fighter as we would all love. But dude has probably the scariest one-punch equalizing factor of all time. Take out Francis Ngannou. I'm just saying, like, I don't care who you put Alex Pereira against. The dude can absolutely drop you. Fight can be going your way. Great, awesome wrestler, just mauling him. Okay. What happens when he connects on a short left hand on your chin, drops you, fight over? All right. Sick. Probably the scariest one-punch guy that you could go against, that I'm not even concerned about his overall skill set not being complete, because it doesn't matter. Every round starts on the feet, and he's a big, strong guy, and it seems like if he has one weakness, that's going to be the one thing he's working on. And shit, it's going to be tougher to take him down if he's just working on that continuously. So if guys can't get him to the ground, it's going to be interesting. Also, we get Charles Oliveira maybe being the backup fighter for Connor and Michael. That's sick, but like, I want to see Connor Michael. Yeah, man. It's going to be a good night of fights. My main picks, I'm going Jonathan Martinez, and I think Steve Erceg could give him a run for his money, but at the end of the day, I feel like you got to be able to put him out. And I guess Steve Erceg can do that. He put out Matt Schnell, but it just seems like Alexander Pantoja eats shots. Even though he's not a very dynamic striker, I can see him getting a late sub maybe, because we did see Steve Erceg get tagged a little bit in his fights, even though it hasn't been crazy. But he can get tagged a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. Any interesting news coming up here? I don't know. The biggest thing is, when are we going to get Ilia in there? That's the biggest thing. Who's Ilia going to fight? I don't know who Ilia's going to fight. Ilia versus Max seems like the way to go, though. That seems like the way to go. Put the BMF belt on the line, and let's see. Let's see, baby. But, yeah, that's all I got to say for this. Thank you, guys. And hopefully Throw One's a banger. We'll try to buy the whole pay-per-view, right? Not streaming. Don't do that. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.